I grew up in like New York City card rooms. I grew up around that stuff, the Italian families and the rich Jewish kids. So gambling was in my blood, it was in my family, it was in my neighborhoods. Anyway, so all the businesses are growing, the money's coming in, great time for everybody, blah, blah, blah. This is all like new to all of us. And I was buying in between, I'd say weekly, maybe 30 to 50K. And we were winning like 30 to 50K, roughly, I had a friend who had very large sales offices all over the world. And we're talking one day and he goes, yeah, I'm going to shut down one of my big offices. I go, what happened? He said, we just bought all these leads, man. Oh, what kind of leads? And he goes, we just bought the National Consumer Database. I go, are they vetted? Are they qualified? Are they targeted? And he goes, no.
Expertise was just in numbers, math. You're a good marketer too, though. You know how to market yourself.
I figured out advertising pretty early on. Advertising because everything was some version of how you say, like high social acuity, right? So it was just like this sort of.
But I'm trying to figure out your mind. I'm trying to figure out how you took this step to becoming this wildly successful professional gambler. Like clearly there was the skill set. Your mind works in a different way, and it's definitely math oriented. It's numbers oriented. You're a numbers guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know that much, right? Like I'm not a smart guy. Like I'm not whatever. No. Obviously, it's not like it's written on my face.
But you're a Jewish kid. You're a bean counter. You guys, you know how to take $1 and turn it into $2.
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah. I wish I had this mind.
Yeah.
I want to use it as kind of motivation for people that like think they need a bunch of money to start a business.
No, I was homeless.
Dude, tell us about real quick before we get into the transition to gambling.
Sure.
You and your couple of friends or a couple of business partners would sit in like a boiler room.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is one of my favorite parts of my like life story. Like this is one of my best moments. So okay. So we had many offices, right? But each office served a purpose. Like there was a business being ran out of there, like a specific thing. Well, we needed a place where we can sit. It was me and two guys, right? Unfortunately, one of them was murdered. So rest in peace, Sam Rizzo. But and then there's Rusty, who is still with us, thank God, And the three of us were best friends. We did everything together. We went on vacations together. We, worked together. We hung out, everything. And so we were like, we need to be together more, right? If we're partners, we need to do this, even though our businesses are scattered everywhere. So we rented an office in a high rise in Boca Raton, also on Federal Highway. And the way it went, when you walked in would be kind of like the Sally Port. It was like, I guess it's supposed to be like the receptionist area, right? It was like you walk in the main door of the office and it was like this room about the size of this, actually probably about the size of this studio here, right? And then we had doors on all the walls that went into the rest of the offices. Those were probably supposed to be like the owner's offices. But what we did instead was, because nobody was really coming in and out of this office for meetings to meet with us, right? This was like our headquarters, our nucleus. So me, Rizzo and Rusty put our desks in here so we'd be on top of each other. So if any of us are working on something, as we're taking phone calls, even though it's like a private call, one of us would over here and be like, I got a guy for that. I heard something about that. Oh, you're thinking about that? I heard about that last week and I heard so-and-so's crushing it. We should look into that. Yeah. So it's like that. And what we would do is every time we have one of these ideas, we would just retrofit one of these side offices to run a beta test on whatever that new idea was. Wow. And if it worked, we would sell it or just expand it into one of our other offices.
Wow. So it's just, you're constantly looking at the best businesses to make money out of.
Yeah, that was our only current path. We didn't have other goals or ambitions.
What were some of your most successful ventures aside from the medical stuff?
A lot of it was in the healthcare because I started by working in healthcare. That's like, I went from homeless to day laborer to healthcare, right? So that was our backbone. And we understood that all the failures we were going to inevitably have, and we had so many, were always going to be funded by our bread and butter, which was the healthcare.
Your core business.
Our core business.
So what were some ancillary businesses that you remember, just a few of them that did well?
That did well? We sold software for a while. That was cool. We sold software. None of us are software people. I couldn't even turn a computer on if you wanted me to.
Yeah, you just found out what podcasts were.
Yeah. Seriously, So, but we knew how to sell things. We knew somebody that was manufacturing them. We found leads for them. I just realized. Okay. So we found leads for them, and we found an outlet. It just made sense. We just connected the dots.
Yeah.
and we just took a vig on it. That's it, a little markup.
Yeah.
It was easy.
Yeah.
You can plug and play any widget, anything. All you have to do is have a customer base, a manufacturer and a customer base.
And how would you find that customer base?
So this is so interesting. I don't know how I overlooked this. Actually, the most profitable business I had that was an ancillary was lead gen. The lead gen was a pure accident. This is what happened. I had a friend who had very large sales offices all over the world, right? And he was like a really close friend. You know, we used to like double date, we'd go on trips, whatever. And we're talking one day and he goes, yeah, I'm going to shut down one of my big offices. I go, what happened? And he goes, well, blah, 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 not relevant. What was relevant, he said, we just bought all these leads, man. I go, oh, what kind of leads? Just having my friend, just conversation. And he goes, we just bought the National Consumer Database. And I go, wow. I go, are they vetted? Are they qualified? Are they targeted? And he goes, no. I just have every single American's phone number, name, and address. I go, what are you going to do with it? And he goes, you got any ideas? And I go, let me think about it. So this is what I did. I went to a lot of everybody that we knew, because our whole life was only about work, right? We didn't have like non-work related friends. Mm-hmm. We just called all our friends and I go, what's your hot product right now? What are you selling? And I remember one guy said to me, I'm selling, what'd he say? I forget what he said. I forget. It doesn't even matter, right? He said a particular product. He goes, that's hot for me right now. I'm on it, right? I go, great. Can I give you some free leads and you tell me how they are? And he goes, yeah, of course I'll take free leads. Because in sales, leads is everything, right?
And these guys are just literally dialing for dollars, like direct sales.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he goes, yeah, I'll take free leads and I'll tell you how they go. Or I'll just give them to some guys and we'll figure it out. I said, great. What I'm going to do is, though, I'm not going to hand you the leads. I'm just going to route my dialing system to your call center. And he goes, okay. So he's like, I tell him there's like an IP, there's a way to connect how many computers you want, whatever. There's like a system to it, whatever. I said, tell me how many computers you want and I'm going to route their dialers. When they route the dialers, I controlled when they get to click the disposition of the call. So what I did on my dialer that they were now accessing is I put all these irrelevant questions. All right. Do you have sore feet? Do you have a sore back? Do you have hair loss? Do you have erectile dysfunction? And the guy was, I forget what he was selling, like car insurance or something, right? So if you're the consumer and the salesman that he works for, my buddy, is good, right? And you're the consumer and you're on the phone with a salesman and he's good. And he goes, hey man, I'm selling car insurance. I see you're between the age of 35 and 40 and blah, 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 and all this. And he goes, yeah, I'm interested in car insurance. Now, the salesman can't go to the next page until he clicks the following answers. Do you have erectile dysfunction? Do you have foot pain? Do you have gangrene? Do you have hair loss? Whatever. The consumer doesn't know what's happening. They're like, this is a stupid question, but car insurance, bureaucracy, whatever. Yeah. What they're really doing is I had that salesman qualifying my leads. So then I would call a guy that I know who sells erectile dysfunction medication. And I'd say, hey, I have specifically targeted erectile dysfunction patients. Do you want these leads?
And those are more valuable.
Yeah, because they're so targeted. They're hot leads. Yeah. 10 minutes ago, a guy hung up and said, I got ED. And I go, hey, guy who sells ED, my friend, here you go. Call this guy. He's going to buy him right now. Wow. But then I would do it to that salesman also. And I was constantly vetting and requalifying all my own data. And I didn't pay for the data to begin with. I just got my buddy who already bought them. I said, listen, I'm not going to pay for them, but I'll get you some money back on it. I'll give you a piece of whatever I get. And he goes, better than nothing. We all ended up making a lot of money, but all we were doing, we kept requalifying the same piece of consumer data. Wow. So if you told me on the first initial call for car insurance that you had hair loss, ED, toe fungus, and ingrown fingernail, your same piece of consumer data is going to 4 of my other friends to sell you on those specific things. Wow. And then when you speak to those guys, they're going to ask you other questions that I've created on their, it's my dialer that they're using. And now we're asking you even more.
Yeah. Do you have back pain? Do you have any pets?
Yeah. You got pets. Are you allergic to cats? Are you moving houses? Yeah. I got guys that do logistics. I'll give you boom. I'll give the logistics leads right to you.
How do you scale this? This seems like a massive time taker.
Well, yeah. Well, all I had was time.
All you were doing was working.
That's it.
Yeah. How many people would you talk to a day, or how many calls would your sales guys make a day?
Hundreds of thousands. Wow. But we had call centers all over the world.
No, not a day.
Yeah, yeah. But we had call centers all over the world.
Right.
It's easy. So there's call centers in all these other countries where the dollar goes so far. Right. And all they have to do is just sit there.
The Philippines. That's it. That's the big one right now. Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah. It was so easy. Yeah, I did great. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just a money guy. It's coming in from every angle. You're staying sober.
It wasn't about the money either. I had way more than I ever had or needed. I lived a pretty simple life, you know? It was just what we did. We didn't know anything else. It was don't do drugs, go to work. That's all we knew.
So how then did this transition into who you are now and what you were to become?
So I grew up in like New York City card rooms. I grew up around that stuff, the Italian families and the rich Jewish kids.
Yeah.
So gambling was in my blood. It was in my family. It was in my neighborhoods. It was just regular. And then my life took all the dark turns and gambling was no longer an option for leisure. I had no leisure, right? And so now I'm making money again. And there's casinos local to where I was living. So